everyone, and welcome back to Guild Wars 2 Living World Season 3. I apologize for the inconsistency with videos. I think it's the first time since I've had my YouTube channel for the entire year that I've had it that I've been so inconsistent with videos, but if you've been around in the channel for a while, you know that I generally record a bunch of game footage and then I do a bunch of like the video editing, and then I set it all up to go through and release on YouTube. That's the best way for me to do it. With the ADHD, it's very hard to if I'm not focused on making a video, I'm not gonna make a video. If I'm not focused on playing a game, I'm not gonna play a game. But we're back, and we are doing Guild Wars 2, Living World Season 3, Chapter 5. So we run into Casimir on our way back to Taimi and her experiments. We help Taimi get her experiments back under control. She's working on combining Primordus and Jormog's power together, or so we can use their power to kind of subdue Primordus and Jormog. It's a whole thing. Just a huge array of power, essentially. Last chapter we had found out that Lazarus is not who he says he is. He is somebody else. We are trying to figure out who he is, and Marjorie comes back at this point and is Lazarus is right behind me. More problems, and all the problems is essentially the first part of this. So we get this mirror set up to kind of expose his illusion, because Casimir, actually being a useful mesmer, was oh hey, this kind of magic and illusion exists, so this will kind of help with that. Because Marjorie was oh yeah, mirrors, super important, and then it's just a whole thing. So sorry, jamming out to the music. And so eventually we get it to where Lazarus comes in and he's oh hey, what's going on? Are you working on this thing? We have to get rid of the elder dragons and and we go through this whole thing where we're oh hey, he's got mercenaries involved now too, so then we have to fight them, and then it's just obviously a battle because battles are important. No, so we do eventually defeat not defeat, I guess subdue would be a better option. I have been using my bow a bit more as well. And so it's just one of those things where it's just figuring out what type of battle mechanics work the best. This battle actually died a lot more than I had been dying, so it's kind of a little annoyed, but at the same time, it was, just kind of get through it. Sometimes I have that mentality where I'm I don't give a shit. I do not give a shit, and I just through it. I just sacrifice myself to get through it. So we get through the mercenaries and all the little illusionary things, and so we just have to chase Lazarus around. And honestly, he's this purple spiky boss, which we don't really have much in the way of that. You know, we've seen like gold and stuff like that, but purple spiky usually means you're not winning this without some help. So it was an interesting battle. But then it's revealed that it's Balthazar. And I really have spent a lot of time since it was revealed that it was Balthazar trying to figure out and remember if Guild Wars 2 has actually provided the lore of who Balthazar is. And it really hasn't. Like, it's this big deal for Casimir, and she was just like, I'm out. And it's not really explained why. And when I was talking about it with my fiance and his brother, I was like, I sincerely do not think Guild Wars 2 has provided any lore as to who Balthazar is, or like the gods and deities in general. Like, when you're in this world and with everything that's been going on, it's kind of like the Elder Dragons are the be-all end-all of it, and they make it seem like those are the most powerful things that you could ever potentially fight. And so to have this deity come in, and he is like the god of war, essentially, it's kind of like, oh, like I guess I realized that they had to have some sort of like religious or deity structure, but like it didn't really ever come up. Like, the lore and stuff hasn't really been there. When you set up a Norn, you know, it is mentioned a little bit, like their spirit guides or their spirits that they follow and that help them is mentioned. And even after Heart of Thorns, you see a little bit, if you're not a Norn, when you're helping with Air's funeral, you kind of see that spiritual belief a little bit. But spirituality, religion, that kind of stuff isn't super present in the game, which, I mean, obviously it doesn't need to be, but to suddenly have, you know, one of our companions be like, haha, nope, I'm out, I'm done, like, this is not, I cannot fight this god. And it's like, now gods are a thing. And I legitimately had thought like Path of Fire was fighting like the fire dragon. Why would I think differently? Like, the first game is fighting the undead dragon, the second Heart of Thorns is fighting the plant dragon. Path of Fire should be the fire dragon, right? Haha. No, turns out we actually sort of see the fire dragon at the very end of this video, which also caught me a little off guard, because even though when I was first trying to figure out who Lazarus was, who was disguising themselves as Lazarus, I kind of assumed, I wasn't thinking bigger than an elder dragon. I say that Balthazar is bigger than an elder dragon. It's still not clear to me if they are at the same level or if one is higher than the other in terms of like power, right? Because there's obviously like a limited amount of elder dragons, but there is a system in place, given Glint's egg and Aurene. There's obviously some sort of protection in place for them to like respawn or like be born again or pass on to the next elder dragon. Whereas I actually had to go and be like, so deities and things, and they were like, oh yeah, in Guild Wars 1, like, it's a huge deal, apparently. Like, that's where you get all your lore is Guild Wars 1, and I'm like, I'm going to assume I'm not the only one that hasn't played or know anything about Guild Wars 1. And there's not really a whole lot of like, by the way, this is what happened. There is a little bit like, there's a couple of like the dwarves that we run into, and we kind of get a little bit of lore and backstory, and we get like Glint's lore and backstory, but there's not really, it's not like there's a summation. Like, I almost wish there was a chapter or a cutscene or like a little movie scene or something you could like go and learn about, like almost if like in Lion's Arch or something there was like an optional quest in like your main storyline. Like when you first go to Lion's Arch at level 30, like if you're okay, well you can continue your quest line here, but if you want to know more, here's a museum, or like talk to this person and get to know, because like Living World Season 1 you can't do anymore, but you get a story of what happened, and like you can see kind of like what you missed and what happened in the story and everything. So if you're going to start incorporating this much of the lore from Guild Wars 1, maybe somewhere in this living world we have some sort of, or earlier on, like it doesn't even have to be in this living world, it could be anywhere, but like it'd be nice maybe, because I guess in the original Guild Wars one of your companions ends up becoming raised to like that deity godlike status. So okay. And like I don't really have any idea how much time is supposed to have passed between 1 and 2. I don't know. I feel like the events of Guild War 1 was not really like ancient times, but it was before the Sylvari were born. And I think there were dwarves in that one, and now like there are no dwarves. Dwarves are, as far as my understanding, is an extinct almost race. Like there's like the one in the library that you had to talk to, and there's the one that you had to talk to on the Fire Islands. That's like sorry about the interruption there. So yeah, just a whole mess of things with that. But essentially for this chapter, we find out it's Balthazar. We end up going to this island called Draconis something or other. It's a fairly annoying map to navigate. Maybe the most annoying map to navigate. Like, I might prefer to be in Maguma again, to be totally honest with you. Like, this one map has like 3 or 4 different layers to it, right? Like you have the normal just like height elevation anyway, but then you have like these different like canyons or gorges in the volcano area, and it's a whole mess, and you have to like glide into different areas and like not glide into different areas, and it was a pain, a straight pain to try and figure out where I was supposed to be, where I wasn't supposed to be. Like, those tube tunnels things are very helpful, but also they can be not very helpful in the same token. So this map was just, if I never have to come back to this map, I will be happy. Which I would be kind of surprised if we had to come back to this map. But also at the same time, this game just likes to be like, oh, you hate this map? Ha ha ha. Like, it's almost like, don't let the map know you hate it until you're totally done with it, and then you can let the map know that you hate it. Like, it's kind of like they made Dry Top and like, okay, this shit's gonna suck, and then they made Maguma and they're like, oh, you thought Dry Top sucked? This is gonna suck more. Oh, you thought Maguma was a fucking train wreck? Alright, how do you feel about this shit? Like, I mean, I'm glad they can incorporate all of the terrain they want. These are very creative game designers, alright? Their map creating team, phenomenal. You do your jobs too well. Just stop. Some of us can't navigate maps, okay? Some of us can't navigate maps. So we are currently finding the 4 elder druid spirits, and these spirits will provide us with a shield to let us go into the volcano so that we can find Balthazar. Our plan is kind of like rushing in and doing our best to stop Balthazar at this point, because he stole Timey's device and he is going to set it off, and I don't know. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I was moderately confused by the whole thing. Like, I didn't quite get it, and I don't know if you're supposed to quite get it. Cause like, even like your character too is just kind of like, alright, Timey, if you say so. But like, so now we're trying to stop Balthazar. We're trying to stop Primordus and Jormog from wreaking havoc, and we figured out that all the Elder Dragons are connected in some way, shape, or form. So, you know, that's all well and good. That's all dandy. Draconis Mons. So you cannot swim in the water. It is the boiling sea. It is boiling. You can't swim in it. And it was really... It took me way too long to figure out how complicated this map was. But at this point, I was like, alright, well, clearly we're not swimming across the sea. Like, it clearly has to be higher than. Because it's been a really, really, really long time since we've had to do anything in the water. So I was kind of assuming, like, oh, we're going to have to, like, go in the water at some point. So, and you can still see there's still nonsense I didn't find in this. Oh, it doesn't reach. My headphones have low battery, and my charger. It's this long. Usually I just like hang it up there, like with this one, or hang my headphones up and like they dangle down enough that it can plug in, but like Nope. So we're gonna hope. I'm not gonna make it. Maybe I'll make it through. If not, I have backup headphones. So I may have to stop the video again, and you'll see me with my purple headphones. Who knows? Who knows? So at this point, we're trying to find the last of the Elder Druids. I didn't do too many of this map's events. I did end up stopping for this one, only because I noticed a ton of people on that little tiny island in the center of this lava pool. And I was like, y'all are crazy. Let me stand up here and shoot my bow and arrow, and at least that way, like, there's some damage being done, I guess. Like, y'all are lunatics for being in that set. Like, they're literally in the center of that lava pool on a tiny little island, and the worm just comes and chomps the whole island. Like, what? I didn't get chomped by the worm. I did not get chomped by the worm. I got blown up a little bit by like the little crystal monster guys, but I was fine. I survived it. I don't know if they all did. I don't think they all did. And I was not about to put my little butt down there and resurrect them. Cause what? No. So we did that one successfully, and then I kept going on, and like I said, this map was just a dick to navigate. Like, there is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like, this map was a hardcore dick. I did figure out that I can use my shadow step, and I can be a little sneaky with my shadow step. I was pretty proud of myself for some of my shadow stepping I did. Because there were several areas where there was just like a bad guy or something that wanted to attack you every like 6 inches. Like, it was just like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm not beating up 1,700 things on my way to talk to this one thing and then doing it all again to get back out. Like, that's just not, I'm sorry. No. Like, no, this has already taken me way too long to even find this place, let alone sit here and beat up 100,000 tigers. Unnecessary. Not happening. Sorry there, darling. So I just like stealthed myself, shadow stepped, like I was out. I was like, peace out, Cub Scout, see you later. And so then we had to do the last one, and the last one was also in an annoying spot that again I ended up just locking myself into with the lava tubes. So yeah, Timey explains a little bit more about how the machine is gonna work, and like too much power, and Balthazar adding his power into it, and like the technical side of it, I just was like, whatever you say, Timey. Like, if bad things are gonna happen, fine, we shall do it. We'll get there. And I think at this point we're kind of like, oh, we'll be lucky if we don't sacrifice ourselves to stop this disaster at this point. Like, that's essentially the mentality that we're going into this volcano with, is, meh, if we make it out, we make it out. If we don't, at least we've stopped Balthazar. Like, that's our whole goal. It's like, stop Balthazar. If we lose a life, we lose a life. So I found a glitch. I am really good at putting myself places I'm not supposed to be. I don't know how I put myself there. I really don't. And like, I was stuck. I was just stuck, and I could see like the area I wanted to go down into, and like I couldn't. I eventually just had to like waypoint my way out of there. It was just a hot mess. I like This is sped up 4 times. Like, I spent way too long dicking around in that little, like, cloud cover. Like, I don't even really know what that was. Like, I should not have been able to be there. I don't know how I was there. It was hysterical. I was just like, I couldn't make that up if I tried. Like, I tried to get that vista on my way down. Failed, obviously. I have been using my glider a lot more. I really like my wings. Partially because I purchased a really cool set of wings, and partially just like the gliding mechanic is fun. I like flying, and I like that they didn't just like, oh, you're transferring to Path of Fire, like you don't need your glider anymore. Like, they still need to, like, you don't need to use it. Like, you probably could use a lot of this stuff without it, but like, you're not getting into that canyon that I was in earlier without your wings. Like, you need your wings. Like, I know they provided the mushrooms and stuff, but like, wings. You need your wings. Like, they're still massively playing with elevation in this. Like, if you are doing this before you're doing Path of Fire, you don't have a mount yet. I don't know when. I think the mounts work like the normal mastery trees. Like, I think you have to go down and earn the different types of mounts. I'm not obviously in Path of Fire yet. Like, I don't know. If I figure it out, I'll let you know. So I'm all over this map, like trying to find my way to different places, and like, I think I've been here before, but like not 100% sure, and like, it took a lot for me to find this last spot. Like, this last spot was making me rage, and like, they've gotten so stingy with waypoints. Like, there's 3 on this map, and quite frankly, they could have screwed us all over and been like, ha, you get 1. Because, like, they've done that with other maps where you've gotten, like, 1, maybe 2, and you're just, like, fucked if you die or get stuck or whatever. And so we finally make it into this last little Elder Druid cave thing, and I'm just like, alright, how do I get there with, like, minimal damage? I'm like, I'm not fighting all this shit. I'm not doing it. So I, like, skirt my way around a few things, talk to the dude, get my last shield, or the last quarter of my shield. I guess it's technically 4 parts of the shield. And then I get to go back into the throat of the volcano. So, this next part is a whole ass disaster. You essentially have to use your glider the entire time. Like, you do your little intro bit with Timey. Oh, do I still have to find the 4th one? Oh, I'm still finding the 4th one. I forgot. This one wasn't super hard to find. This one was just once I realized the scale of this map. Like, this map is deceptively large because there's just elevations everywhere and things hidden and stacked, and it's just, I hate it. I hate it. I hate all the maps. I hate all the maps. So, but it was honestly, it was fairly simple to run in and get it, and that's why I thought it was the last one. Okay, so now we go into the throat of the volcano, and Timey surprises us with her little suit. That's all well and good. We have a little scanner thing she gives us that we scan, and then the funny mechanics come into play. I was not super pissed off at these goofy mechanics, mostly because they were not in a fight, And it was practicing the goofy mechanic before you had to fight with the goofy mechanic, which I appreciated. I appreciated the fact that we had to use our glider, scan a thing, collect the thing that came off the thing that we scanned, and then use the little glowy ball of energy that we collected from the anomaly we scanned to progress further. Because this actually collectively made sense when we got to the boss battle at the bottom. They used those mechanics that we had just practiced in the bottom of the volcano. So it was actually like a pleasant surprise with this game that they didn't just have me drop down the whole frickin' volcano and then surprise, learn how to use your fucking glider and how to fucking throw bombs and shit off your glider. No, we got to practice that shit on the way down. So it wasn't an established battle plan, but like at least they didn't just toss you in the deep end like they do quite frequently with goofy mechanics. This game and goofy mechanics, we know how I feel. Or at least if you've been here for more than one Guild Wars 2 episode, you know how I feel about goofy mechanics. So I do manage to successfully glide my way down. It is very, very obnoxious for me personally. I don't know, maybe you can tell exactly how close I am to the anomaly. I could not. I wasn't doing this sped up, and I could not tell how close I was to that little like glowy stuff in the middle. That anomaly. Like, I could not for the life of me. Like, the lighting, the swirling, all of the shit on the side, like, it was super, super deceptive on where I was. It messed with my depth perception horrendously. Like, I was straight winging it on how close I was to this nonsense. Like, I had no idea if I was 1,000 feet or 2 inches above the no-fly zone. Like, it was nice though that this whole area was just like an updraft. So like, you did not have to worry about trying to find an updraft to keep flying up. And like, your glider was just permanently energized. It was like, there was just permanent updraft. If you had your wings out, you were going up, which was kind of nice. But then I let myself free fall, and of course. So then we get down here, and Balthazar has attached himself to the machine, because of course he has, aimed right at Primordus, which, I mean, fairly impressive, I guess. This whole situation, I was still like, what? And then they dropped the dogs on me. And one dog would not have been a tough fight. One dog for this particular character actually would have been a fairly easy fight. Like, honest answer, like, I could beat the shit out of one of those dogs. 2 of those dogs. 2 of those dogs were a problem. But I managed to do it, and then obviously, as I mentioned earlier, the goofy mechanics set in. Yay! But we had learned. So again, this whole area wasn't quite an updraft, but it pretty much was an updraft. You could jump off the side, put your wings on, and you could up into the air perfectly fine. So you had to scan the anomaly, collect 2 energy things, and then lob it at the dead body of the dog well, dead, not really dead, body of the dog. I say dog, they were hellhounds. I mean, realistically, like, they were hellhounds. But they're all a puppy. It's just a fire puppy. So the fire puppies were a problem. So you had to collect the blue energy source and the red energy source, and then you had to bomb the body of the fire puppy. And again, not in and of itself that complicated. The timing did have to be just perfect. Like, the more you did it, the shorter the times were. Not by much, but you couldn't really like lollygag around. Like, you kind of had to like scan, grab, toss, go. Like, you did not leave you a lot of time to really do it. And I think you really only had to like, it didn't really go, you had to do it a couple of times. I don't know if it was a couple of times to each dog, or if you had to do like, I'm trying to remember, because it was really hard to keep like the dogs that I was beating up straight and how many times like one had died. So I don't think it was initially like, okay, you've killed this fire puppy once and this fire puppy twice, and you've lobbed a thing at this fire puppy, but you've never lobbed a thing at this fire puppy. And it was just, the game kept itself in check. Like, I just had to keep lobbing energy balls at fire puppy bodies until Timey said, yay! Like, that was pretty much. So I was doing this, I was doing it. I pretty much accepted that if I got caught by both fire puppies, I was dead. I was really trying to like swoop in, kill a fire puppy, get the energy, lob it, and then I'd essentially die. Like, I was trying to time it. I was trying to like be productive with my time, but I also accepted that death was a factor. I was on fire a lot. There were fireballs everywhere. There were flamethrower things everywhere. Like, there was just a lot of fire. When we were in the middle of a volcano fighting fire puppies, I mean, obviously there's fire everywhere, but like, there's so much fire. And I had figured it out. I was doing it. We were going well. Like, my armor wasn't really taking a huge hit with the deaths. Like, it was actually being very kind to me in that regard. It was a little bit like I was getting the arrow, like, you've died a lot, like, you probably should stop dying, or you're gonna take more negative things, but whatever. But obviously, the more you killed the fire puppies, the more you threw the energy balls at them, the more difficult the fight got. So you could kind of keep track how much you've done it. Like, it kind of went in like a pattern cycle, kind of cycled a little bit, like staged itself. I did hit the wrong button though at one point, and instead of hitting respawn from checkpoint, I hit return to Dracona spawns, exit the instance. Which, as you may or may not know, if you exit the instance, you have to do the whole damn thing over again. The whole thing. You have to do all of the conversations. You have to do all the bits and pieces. You have to do it all. You can't just start where you left off. Like, it erases all memory of that instance. Which I understand, but highly frustrating. So I had to do it all again. I raged a little bit. on the inside. I did speed this up 10 times because we already saw it. We already saw it all. Oh, we don't need to see it again. We don't need to see it again. So we went through the whole volcano process again. We get all the way up to the fire puppies again. It went a little quicker this time though, admittedly. The fire puppy battle went a little quicker now that I had, you know, a strategy in place that I had worked out the last fight. Took some deep breaths. Get the rage of leaving the instance out of my system. And we did it, and we were good, and we did it, and we finished chapter 5 because this is the very last thing, obviously, you had to do in chapter 5 because... obviously. And then Balthazar just poofed. He just poofed. He just disappeared. We're like, okay, good, great, solid, fantastic. Where did he go? So... but Primordius and Jormog, we were successful in... I think we just put them back to sleep. If I remember what Timmy's machine did correctly. I don't think we, like, obliterated them. Like, the other two dragons, like, I think we did just settle them back down. I want to say, like I said, I really did not... I paid attention at the time to what Timmy's machine was supposed to do, but I don't remember now what Timmy's machine is supposed to do. Maybe that's a good thing, so now you can play it and you can be like, oh, that's what Timmy's machine is doing, yay, and I didn't give you all of the answers. I don't know, that might be frustrating for you. I don't know, sorry if it is. So yeah, we just, like I said, this was sped up 10 times, because I didn't think you guys needed to watch that again, but I made it farther the second time, obviously. I probably could have just cut out the first one and y'all have never known. I just been like, yay, we did it! First time's the charm! But I'm honest. So yeah, there's a cutscene. It is an actual cutscene at the end of it. It does seem to like cutscenes once in a while, which is nice. I like the cutscenes. I don't, like I said, I'm not a huge fan of like the boxes of conversation, and you can't skip the conversation. Like, you can't just even walk away from it and continue. Like, you just gotta wait for them to be done talking your ear off. And good lord, there are some long-winded conversations. Like, oh my god. So yeah, shoots the ray at Primordius. It does also take out Jormog, apparently. We talked to Timmy, we finished it up, and like, well, where the hell did Balthazar go? So yeah, and thank you guys so much for watching, and I shall see you in chapter 6. Have a wonderful day. Bye, guys.